Mikal Bridges is going to be the next guest on Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's podcast show, and I'm here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and I want to get right into today's video. Mikal Bridges is going to be the next guest on the podcast show hosted by Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Now, Knicks fans, I don't want to read too much into it because more than likely this is just guys who were college teammates, just getting together, just chopping it up, talking about old stories. But of course, it did get me to wonder, and Chris and I, we recently did a video where we briefly talked about this. What if Mikal Bridges was actually on the New York Knicks? What would that look like? So, don't know the pieces that we would actually give up. Don't know the amount of draft picks that we would give up. But just hypothetical, if we had a starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges at the 2, because he is listed as a small forward and a shooting guard, but I think his natural position is a shooting guard. So Jalen at the 1, Mikal at the 2, put OG at the 3 as a small forward, Julius Randle at the 4, and Mitchell Robinson at the 5. And again, hypothetical, everybody healthy. That starting 5 would look absolutely nuts. Of course, we would have to have everybody healthy. But hypothetically, if we were to have that starting 5, unquestionably, undoubtedly, going up against the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, the healthy Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, even going up against the Miami Heat, I think we would be strong, very strong contenders, especially with the way Mikal Bridges' offensive game has picked up since he got traded from Phoenix to Brooklyn. For the season for the Brooklyn Nets, Mikal Bridges is averaging 22 points, 21.9, but basically 22. 4.9 rebounds, which is basically 5 rebounds. 3.7 assists, converting 45.4% from the field, and converting 36.9, which is 37% from the three-point line. And he is converting 82.5% from free throws. And you know me, if you are getting to the line and converting from the line, that's always a stat that I'm going to be looking at. To get a little bit more in depth regarding the numbers, as far as his field goal attempts, it's 45.5% on 17 attempts. So the volume of shots is there. And also the amount of three-point attempts that he's taking is 7 to his 37% converting from three-point line. Now, again, Mikal Bridges going to the podcast show, joining Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. They're just going to be chopping it up, talking about old times, talking about probably growing up in life and life in the NBA. There more than likely will not be any tampering here. Knicks fans, we can fantasize about what a team with Mikal Bridges would look like. So I did mention the starting 5, but now what would the bench look like? So the bench would have Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alec Burks, Bojan Bogdanovic. Now, it's kind of hard to say because if Mikal Bridges were to get on the team, I don't know if Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic will be on this team after the trades that we just made. But again, I'm in hypothetical land, so I'm actually going to include them in this team. So basically, the New York Knicks would be incredibly deep. We have a great big man coming off the bench in Isaiah Hartenstein, who, in my opinion, is kind of a better fit in the starting 5, but I do understand why Mitchell Robinson and Coach Tibbs would put him in the starting 5. Mitchell Robinson is basically one of, if not the best defensive anchor in the league right now. He's definitely in the conversation. But yeah, we would have a multitude of weapons coming off the bench and in the starting 5. Jalen Brunson would still undoubtedly be the best player, in my opinion, on the team. Julius Randle and Mikal Bridges, they will definitely be fighting for that second spot, but I think Mikal Bridges would naturally fit into the number 2 option, which would slide Julius Randle into the number 3 option, which is one situation that we've never actually seen Julius Randle be in, being the number 3 option on a team. I think it would actually do wonders for Julius Randle because, one, it's actually going to lessen the pressure off of Julius Randle's shoulders. He'd be able to play more naturally, more freely. I think we would actually see him blossom even more. And that's saying a lot because being as the number 1 option and the number 2 option, he's actually made all NBA teams. He's actually made all-star games. So imagine if he was the number 3 option with all that pressure off his shoulders and he was able to play a little bit more freely. Now, of course, we don't know if Julius Randle would actually be up for it, because in the past we have seen glimpses of him being a very individualized type player. And when I say an individualized type player, I mean that the way he goes about his game is you can kind of tell that he's trying to get his numbers for himself. Now, again, I don't want to come off as a Julius Randle hater, so I will combat that with saying ever since Jalen Brunson has come to the Knicks, Julius Randle has been an incredible number 2 option, and he is willingly buying in to the idea of him being a number 2 option, and not really. And in New York, of course, the second or first media capital of the United States, the reporters are always going to come up with stories. If it's on the court or off the court, they're always going to try and come up stories with chemistry on the team, and maybe some players don't like this, maybe some players don't like that. But honestly, Julius Randle, since he's been a number 2 option, since Jalen Brunson has come in, I haven't really heard anything from Julius Randle complaining about his minutes, complaining about his role. So salute to Julius Randle. But again, Mikal Bridges joining Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson on the Roommate Show on their podcast. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Knicks fans, I don't want you guys to get too excited regarding this. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, they're trying to plant the seeds in order for Mikal Bridges to come to the Knicks. I'm taking it as face value. It's just a bunch of guys just going to a podcast, talking about old times, and just having a good time. But I also want to talk about something that Josh Hart said in one of the more recent episodes. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, they were talking about their reactions after hearing RJ Barrett got traded. So Jalen Brunson was talking about how I think he was in the lobby having breakfast, and I think they were in Indiana. And then RJ Barrett comes up to Jalen Brunson saying that, I'm going to Toronto, but not really telling Jalen Brunson that he got traded. So Jalen Brunson this whole time is under the assumption that he had some personal stuff going on because, as everybody knows, RJ is Canadian. His home country is Canada. So Jalen Brunson thought that he had some personal stuff going and he was going to go to Toronto just to deal with it and then come right back. But then, so Jalen Brunson was there just all confused in the face. And then he's seen RJ Barrett say bye to a couple people. And the next thing you know, he leaves. And then 2 minutes later, that's when Jalen Brunson, he got the tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski saying that RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly got traded to Toronto for OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, Precious Achiuwa. And Jalen Brunson just kept saying how, those type of moments are very hard being in the league. He understands that the NBA is a business. But it's hard because you build a camaraderie, you build a chemistry with a bunch of guys, and then all of a sudden they're traded like that. But Josh Hart, right after that, said something very interesting. He told Jalen Brunson that he actually sent a text to Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, and unfortunately he did not receive a text back. Now, again, I don't think it's anything serious. I don't think it's anything to dive into. It's probably RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley were getting a bunch of messages from their agents, from their families, just a whole bunch of things going on in the moment, and they weren't able to respond to Josh Hart immediately. I'm pretty sure that after the whole whirlwind of 24 hours was over, I'm pretty sure RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley messaged Josh Hart back. But Josh Hart is funny, man. Josh Hart, I like to see his, I guess you could say, his human side. So many times, fans, we get so enamored with these players that we kind of at a certain point we only get to see them as basketball players or as professional athletes. And I love it when we get to see the human side of these athletes or celebrities. And Josh Hart, ever since he came with the Knicks, you're able to see his human side. He cracks little jokes here, he cracks little jokes there. In his interviews, his responses aren't so robotic like, all NBA players after they go through the media training, they know exactly what to say when a certain type of question comes up. I feel like Josh Hart was just being his regular comedic self and just trying to be a little lighthearted there. But that's it for today's video, guys. I want to say thank you for checking it out. Leave it in the comments. First of all, let me know if you've been checking out the Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson Roommate Show, their podcast show. Let me know how it is because I'm debating if I want to follow it. I already follow a lot of different podcasts, basketball, just movie podcasts, a lot of different podcasts. I don't want to add another show to my queue right now. But if it's worth checking out, let me know in the comments. Let me know how much you like the episodes, the show. And also, let me know your thoughts on Mikal Bridges being in a hypothetical world, coming to the Knicks, being in the starting five, talking about the bench, the hypothetical bench that I talked about. Let me know in the comments what you think of that team, if they are NBA Finals contenders or what. Let me know in the comments. But until next time, guys, you guys know it's always Taj Gibson for president, Jalen Brunson for MVP. And until next time, Knicks forever, and we out. Peace.